Let's get a look at some of the pictures. LeBron James, year 18. Brez, you wish you looked like that year 18, don't you, buddy?
I wish I looked like that at any time in my life. He's very pensive down there in the bottom right, though. What's he thinking about right there, Geet?
This is the media day I like. Check out the kicks. Purple and gold remix. Lakers sneaker cam. That's real nice right there.
Good kicks.
AD was also looking good, BT, as you can imagine. The brow is back for take two. Oh. There's that scream that you like.
Man, he looks pensive too at the bottom. What's going on with these guys?
Must be a new look, guys. Kind of look a little pensive, a little melancholy, maybe.
Yeah, you know what I wish though, guys? I wish I had some hair like they have. I don't have any left.
BT, they can fix that. There's products out there.
And then we got Montrezl Harrell getting his first pitch taken in the Lakers uni. These colors look good on you, Lakers are tweeting out. He's as happy as can be.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he still gets BT to cover him, too, so it's a win-win for Trez.
BT, follow Trez wherever he goes, BT.
Yeah, man, and he's got that hair again. Man, what's going on there? Is there a bald-headed guy on the team?
You jealous of his hair, too?
Here's Quinn Cook. The two-time champ is here. Remember, he won one with the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, I'm glad he's back. Good dude. Very good interview.
Earlier today, Cook talked about why he's back with the Lakers.
Me, you know, being a super fan of a team, and then me being a super fan of a player, Bron, and, you know, him being my teammate and me being on that team. I mean, I literally used to dream that every single day when I was growing up. And for me to manifest that and actually accomplish it was great. But I still have a lot to prove to myself and to this league. And last year was very motivated, very grateful to come back and then want me back. I mean, that meant a lot to me. That meant a lot to me for them to bring me back and, you know, make me feel special. And I know how much, you know, Coach believes in me. I know how much Rob, Kurt, Jeannie, I know how much they believe in me. So that meant a lot, and I want to, you know, make them proud by, you know, being ready.
I mean, I know from a media perspective, we're all happy. Yeah. And from a fan perspective, Quinn Cook is awesome. He appreciates where he is. He grew up a huge Laker fan. Everyone knows the story. He wears the jersey with such pride. Different circumstances all around for Cook this season. What do you think his role is going to be, Brez? Can it be different?
Yeah, I mean, look, there were a couple games last year where he came off the bench and he did score more than 20 points. So he can still fill it up on occasion. This year, though, I don't know what's going to happen with him. I mean, Schroeder is obviously, if Schroeder comes off the bench, he's going to get a massive amount of the playing time as the point guard. And Cook's going to have to just kind of wait a little bit. He played 44 games last season, you know, about two-thirds of the Lakers' games. And he might not play that many this year. But it's a good story, Geet. Remember, the Lakers initially declined to bring him back a few weeks ago. They gave a part of his non-guaranteed contract, and then they circled back around, signed a bunch of guys, and said, you know what, we're going to bring him back. So good for him, good for the Lakers. And he did do this in Golden State. He can jump in from time to time, get you your 20 points. Don't know how many chances he will have this year to do that.
BT?
I think his big chances will come when they're resting guys. And let's hope no one can't play because of COVID. But if that happens, then that gives Quinn another chance to get some action. But as Brez says, most likely Quinn Cook is the third-string point guard behind LeBron James and also behind Dennis Schroeder. But, you know, it's a long season, even though it's only 72 games, even though we don't know if they're going to complete 72 games. But the idea that you have someone who's been in the system, who knows the players, and as Brad said, who can make outside shots, and who's just a good teammate. But the number one role for him was to be a good teammate, play very hard in practice, and to prepare his teammates, and to be vocal when those fans are not there and the place is empty. He has to be one of the guys that's always cheering his teammates on, making sure they have the right energy to play in these games.
Well said. In other NBA news today, I'm not sure you guys caught this, six-time All-Star Paul George has signed a 4-year extension to stay with the Clippers. It's a max extension added on top of his $35 million deal for this season and replaces his player option for the 21-22 season. He's now guaranteed as much as $226 million over the next 5 seasons. I mean, listen, AD now sounds like a bargain. Right, BT? But listen, good for the Clippers. Good for the Clippers. In all seriousness, this gets him there long term. That's a lot of money, man.
And look, it's good money. I don't care what you guys say. 190 is 190. I take it. Why complain? Give me $190 million. See if I complain about it. I ain't doing that. No. Look, AD did a deal the way he wanted. He felt fine with the deal he has. But let's not forget, AD can also opt out after the fourth season. And I think he'll be, 31 years old, something like that? So then if he signs another 4-year deal or a 5-year deal, he can sign for a lot more money than what he's making now. I would say this, Mike Bresnahan, I don't think those guys will be eating bubble gum at night. I think
what do you think about that, Mike Bresnahan?
Well, Broderick Turner, I think you made close to that at the LA Times. You've been there for a while. I'm sure you're climbing up on the pay raise poll over there.
Oh, he's getting paid.
Yeah, he's getting paid. He better be anyway. Yeah. I want to be his agent if that's not the case. I'm not surprised by this, all right? The Clippers gave up a lot of draft capital to get Paul George. 5 first-round draft picks. By comparison, Lakers only gave up 3 first-round draft picks to get AD. But the bottom line is, I'm not surprised that he's staying. The Clippers, of course, they're going to offer him the max. He better be better than he was in the bubble. Not such a good run for him there, but he's a good player overall for sure.
You know, BT's getting paid. That paper towel rack you were talking about costs $2K.
That's
all right. This quote from Paul George via All the Smoke podcast. Matt Barnes and Jax. I'm as locked in as you can be. Listen to Kobe on a daily basis. Ooh, I'm on Mother, you know what, asses. All the Smoke podcast.
Credit to him. I mean, Kobe, such a motivator. You know, he always met with these guys, even when he was still playing during the offseason. Remember, he took a young Russell Westbrook under his arm, tried to help him out a little bit during the offseason. And that's great stuff from Paul right there.
Listen, Brez, last season, as we go to the Lakers here, they took a page out of the Mamba playbook and led with defense in their run for a championship. 2 key players on that Lakers defense, and you can throw in Rondo because of how he played in the playoffs, so make it 3. JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard no longer with the Lakers. So you add Trez, Gasol, Schroeder, Wes Matthews. Are the Lakers just as strong defensively? I know they're different, but can they be as good? Because that really is what won them the championship. Yeah. In those playoff series when they were down 1-0 twice.
Yeah. I mean, you had Dwight running around out there kind of antagonizing Nikola Jokic. You know, you had Danny Green. Didn't really shoot all that well. Didn't score a ton of points. That's not his game. But, you know, it's interesting. I hear what you say when they're different. Not nearly as much rim protection, but obviously you still have Anthony Davis. That's a good start. It's going to come down to Schroeder. How good is he on the perimeter? Scrappy guy, kind of a bulldog, doesn't take a lot of games off. And the same could be said, actually, for Montrezl Harrell. A tough guy. He's revving in the red line every time he plays, so that's going to be big when a guy like LeBron or AD is not playing that particular night, say a midseason game in Charlotte or something like that. So I think they'll be scrappier. I don't know if they'll have as many block shots and game-changing plays at the basket.
Yeah, much different. BT?
I think they can be equally as good. Number one, because the head coach, Frank Vogel, will demand that they play great defense. And everyone on that team knows they won a title by playing great defense. And let's not forget, Marc Gasol once was the Defensive Player of the Year. So he's also a good defender. Maybe doesn't block shots at the rim as well as Dwight Howard did and JaVale McGee, but he uses his body well, and he is long at 6'11". And let's not forget, Wesley Matthews is a 3-and-D guy. He's a good defender on the wing players. And a guy like Kyle Kuzma, who keeps working on his defense, will be depended upon. Alex Caruso plays good defense. And Dennis Schroeder, you now have a point guard with speed and quickness to defend all those other fast point guards out there. So I think they can be equally as good, if not better, if they get the system in place and they play basketball the right way.
All right, preseason getting underway on Friday night. Brez and BT on the players and storylines. BT, Brad Turner from the LA Times. And guess what, people? Tomorrow night, for the first time since October 11th, we've got a Lakers game. Now, unlike the 11th, this one is meaningless, Brez. But it's still exciting. Laker basketball is here.
Yeah, finally something's back. It's been a whole, 6 weeks, it feels like, since we last saw them on the court. No idea who's going to play and who's not going to play, but at least we can talk X's and O's and see some of these new Laker faces.
Good to see you, BT.
It's good to be seen, Geeter. You too, Bresnahan.
Let's jump right into it. BT. Practice continued today. from just down the road in El Segundo. It was Quinn Cook's first practice after clearing COVID protocols. But, of course, the big story is that there's a game tomorrow night, Friday. Head coach Frank Vogel on getting the preseason underway against the Clippers.
We did add to the group today. We had almost a full roster at practice today. Alfonso McKinney is still out with an excused absence. And as far as tomorrow goes, Anthony and LeBron will not play, and some of the new guys are still to be determined. We haven't made final decisions on which guys are going to play which games, other than Anthony and LeBron will not play tomorrow.
I feel like in years past, when you guys are going through training camp and that first preseason game, finally being able to see another opponent comes up, there's an excitement because you're ready to go against someone else but yourselves. How different is that feeling now? How would you describe what that feeling is like as you guys are already facing an opponent tomorrow?
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's different. This is a shorter training camp for us with regard to when the first game is, what the build up to this camp has looked like, not doing double sessions because of concerns of COVID and the testing, and obviously where our guys are at with it from a conditioning standpoint. So I don't really feel like this year has that same kind of, man, I can't wait to bang on another team because we've been beating ourselves up so much in camp.
Just wondering what you anticipate about playing in Staples Center as opposed to the games in the bubble, and how you think that mix of being in your home arena but not having it be the typical experience is going to be, and if there's anything that you mentioned along those lines as you game plan and such.
Yeah, I mean, I think there will be more of a home court advantage for teams this season than there was in the bubble because of travel more than the in-game environment. Obviously the arena will feel more comfortable to us than to our opponents, but with no fans there, you're not really getting that energy differential. As to what to expect for what it's going to feel like, who knows? I mean, the league has said that some of the arenas are going to have the pumped-in noise, but not necessarily all of them. I don't even know what we're doing, to be honest with you. I haven't really been paying attention to that. But it's definitely going to feel different than the bubble. It's just a far bigger building, more space. So we'll just have to see how it feels.
Just 4 preseason games, just like you like it, Brez. It's going to be quick. You got tomorrow, Friday, Sunday against the Clippers, right? Those two. And then Wednesday and a week from Friday, the Suns. And then it's the regular season. How much will we be seeing LeBron and AD during the preseason, if at all?
I would guess one half of one game. I don't think we'll see him in the next game. I'd be really surprised. And maybe they jump in for game 3, just for a half, kind of get acclimated just a little bit. I mean, Frank Vogel and Rob Pelinka have been saying all along, we're going to talk to them a lot. We're going to communicate with them, with the representatives. Whatever they feel like doing, we're going to try to accommodate them. They have to play the big TV games, so they're going to be out there on the 22nd for the season opener, and then 3 days later for Dallas on Christmas Day. But maybe they start punting a couple games after that. Maybe you got the back-to-back on the 27th and the 28th. Maybe they sit out one of those 2 games.
What do you think, BT? I mean, you're not worried about them, but you do maybe want to give them a little burn, but, you want to navigate through it.
You need some time just for them to get in basketball shape, and also to have LeBron and AD to learn how to play with Marcus Gasol, to play with Montrezl Harrell, Dennis Schroeder, Wesley Matthews. Those things don't happen overnight, although I keep hearing that it's working out really good in the practice sessions. But you need both guys, AD and LeBron, to get their win, to get their game back together, their legs back together underneath them. But the key is making sure that they are healthy and they don't sustain any injuries along the way.
Now, speaking of LeBron and AD, Markieff Morris posted this on Instagram today.
Boys in the parking lot, look at them. 2 twins, look at them. Coming in close. Look at them. Niggas in the parking lot. Crazy out here in LA.
So that's Markieff Morris having some fun. You got LeBron and AD just chilling. So listen, earlier we heard Frank Vogel mention how players need to kind of adapt to playing at Staples Center with no fans. What are some of the challenges you guys foresee playing regular season games in arenas like Staples Center with no fans. Remember what it was like in the bubble, the adjustment that it took. This is going to be even much different than that.
Yeah, the bubble, small arena. Maybe you fit a couple thousand people in there, and they had the giant big screens all around, you know, the fans of the day popping in and out of the TVs down there. Now you're talking like 19,000, 20,000 seat arenas. Might be some blind spots if you're shooting jumpers with no one in the seats. It's going to be a bizarre situation. Just when you think 2020 can't get any more unique and unusual, here we go. Now they're in giant unfilled arenas.
I'm curious, BT, because the guys in the bubble, maybe they'll be a little more used to it than some of the players that did not play. But those guys talked about the mental preparation and battle just to kind of get over the fact that no one's there to fire us up. You're looking for the emotion. You can't draw off fans. It took a while for these guys to get adjusted. It's going to be even different now.
It did. But one thing about the bubble, those were playoff games. So you were playing for something. And what it took was some of their teammates that were on the bench not playing, guys like Jared Dudley, making sure that they were screaming, they were yelling, they were encouraging their teammates. When they play at Staples in a regular season game or the Lakers play in Indiana, you don't have those fans to give you that energy. You don't have opposing fans to call you a bunch of names, nasty names, to get you fired up. You don't have your own fans to kind of push you on, to cheer you on, to keep you kind of in the right groove. Not having fans, I think, would be difficult. But the Lakers went through that. So did 22 other teams in the NBA. So those teams, and especially the Lakers, I think they'll be fine. It just takes some adjustment because, as Brad says, you're now playing inside of an arena that holds maybe 20,000 fans and it's empty.
Yeah, seeing games from the bubble didn't look so odd. It was a small space, hard to notice there weren't fans there at Staples Center. We're used to seeing 19,000 fans. Tomorrow night it's going to look and feel really weird. With more on the empty arena, Marc Gasol.
We haven't really talked about our situation specifically. We talked a little bit about, you know, how the other teams, some of the teams seem like they're going to have some people at the arenas, and it goes from state to state. So that to me still brings some questions. But that's for me personal that I'd like to a little more explaining how come that some arenas they allow fans and some arenas don't understand, you know, the different laws in different states, but I think we should have the same for everyone. That's just my opinion. But, you know, that's what we talk about.
Your brother spoke to Zach Lowe and said that playing for the Lakers, playing with you is a goal of his. I guess kind of what was your reaction to that? And have you guys spoken at all about the possibility of maybe trying to play together in the NBA?
I think it's up to his health first and foremost. But has to be healthy and has to continue to stay healthy throughout the process of rehabbing, building that endurance and building, you know, on that continuous impact on his foot, on his bone is going to be crucial. The only way you know that is through playing. So I think he has to find a way to play a little bit to see how his body reacts to that, and you know, I think that should be the main focus right now instead of, you know, where he's going to play. You know, more important is, you know, is his health and how he feels and how his body reacts to the, you know, to the workload.
I speak for all three of us. We love Pau. This is a great story, but realistically, Brez, could Pau make it back and grab a spot with the Lakers?
It's going to be tough. All right, he's 40 years old, has not played in the NBA in almost 2 years. And when he did play in that last year, he wasn't averaging many points. It would be a great kind of story of redemption, because when Pau left here in 2014 to go to the Bulls, he took less money. He was ready for a change of scenery. There had been a lot of trade rumors kind of bandied about using his name for a couple years before he left. So he didn't leave in a real great way. But this would be a really nice way to kind of bring him back into the fold. Obviously, he would be towards the end of the bench. Don't need to rely on him for 25 minutes a night. And like you said, one of the best guys I've ever worked with. Always loved interviewing him and just talking to him in general.
Weigh in, BT.
I mean, I'm like Brad, it'll be difficult. The last time I spoke to Pau was in June, and nothing has really changed regarding his health. He's had 2 surgeries on his left foot. That's a difficult thing to overcome when you're 40 years old and you're trying to play the game of basketball. I mean, I hope it happens. It'd be great to have him here. But Paul also has an ego, and he should. And if he does play, I'm sure he doesn't want to sit on the end of the bench eating popcorn, talking to Mike Bresnahan at halftime. I mean, he wants to play in a meaningful game and have a meaningful role. And I just don't see that happening with him if he happens to sign a contract. But it would be great for Laker fans to see him make this one last run, because he gives you that bridge between the last championship in 2010 and he gets a chance to play with his brother again, if that happens.
Hey, BT, nice paper towel rack behind you.
Brethren, I cook in my house. What do you do?